Hello everybody and welcome for this part 16 of the Arduboy dev stream. We are still doing our Rick Arduous game. I think the lighting is not great. Is it better like this? Maybe I can. Yeah, there's too much light today. Maybe like this will compensate a bit. Okay. So yeah, in this stream we will fix and improve the bullet. So we actually when we finish the stream we actually add a bug in the bullet, and I've noticed it because I draw in different step where I show you that, like I had a debug draw in the map manager, but I also end up commenting some part of the code, and just to make sure that the bullet logic was okay, and actually it was not. So I fix it, then I improve it a little bit by playing the bullet in a very slow speed. I could see exactly each frame what happened. And after that, I have also, outside of the stream, I have also added the animation for the main character for firing and placing the dynamite. So I will first show you this code change, and then we will move on and create new stuff. So first here, what I've changed. In Rick, I've just spawned the bullet 1 pixel in front of it when it's looking left, but I have removed that change later on, so that's not important. What is important and what was the bug is, actually I should show you the bug first. The bug was here when we, where it is, here. In the draw fast H line, horizontal line, actually the third parameter is the width of the line. So I just, before I was just calling start x and end x. I just thought it was the beginning and the end position of the line, but no, it's x and y is the start of the line, and then you specify a width, a length of the line. So yeah, actually this was totally wrong, right? Because the length was obviously too long, and that's why when we draw it, we had this kind of strange line that was very long, instead of being just like 6 pixels, right? So I've created this new constant value, which is actually just the sum of the bullet speed and the bullet width, right? This is your length of the raycast, you can call it, or the length of all the pixels that the bullet will traverse. So just the sum of the two, right? And also I didn't need anymore the end x parameter here, so I just needed the actually the start x. So I changed the parameter to just return the start x instead of passing it by parameters here. So that also simplified a lot the code. Well, a lot. That simplified the code, as you can see. So now my raycast, instead of setting the two value, I just return the x, either this one or this one, right? I just return it, and here in the raycast now I use this constant value because I always raycast with the constant width actually. so I don't need to have these two. I can just call directly this function and pass it here. And for the iteration to find the impact, it's more or less the same. I still use the start x, but this time I iterate from 0 to the length, and I just search the pixel x plus I. That's it, and just the x becomes this one. So yeah, that's just a little change. In the update, I have done some minor change, like I moved this boolean, I move it here, and I had a break instead of just returning, and I just return it here. Okay, why? Because basically I also think about this case, which if you remember, I left it here, commenting, say, oh, okay, we'll see that later for the case when the bullet is outside of the screen. So basically this should happen in the we didn't find an impact. If we didn't find an impact and then the bullet is outside of the screen, then I should do something. But I should not play the FX. The bullet just disappear outside of the screen. So if I don't play the Sparks FX, then I just clear those flags, just remove, return, and that's why I use this now this flag 2 times, set it true here or here. Yeah, that's it. So basically that was these two bugs that I fixed. Then later on I improve again the logic. So what I've noticed is that so like I said, I just revert what I've done here. I don't place x -1 here, and so what I've done is that one thing I noticed is I wanted to I feel that the bullet was too fast at the beginning, and actually that was 2 bugs. So yeah, the first frame you fire, actually with the existing code, I will play the bullet after the speed. So I moved the first frame, I moved the bullet, and then I drew it, which means on the first frame the bullet is not just right outside the muzzle of the gun, but is already here for the first frame, right? Because I move it speed and then place the bullet here. All right, but I feel that it's like when you fire, the feeling was like, oh, the bullet is very far. So what I wanted is to have the first frame, the bullet is just here outside the muzzle of the gun, then the next frame it's moved here, right? So to do that, then I change the constant bullet speed by variable 1. So I created a new variable called current bullet speed. So I can show you the header file. So I add a current bullet speed, and I remove this bullet cast ray length because I didn't need it. So I remove it. And by the way, I also tuned the speed. I changed from 3 to 4 to make it even a bit faster. And yeah, I added this variable. And by the way, I also just renamed that function, but it's basically the same, just changing the name. And to rename that bullet, to add this bullet speed, I actually use the union, because I don't need to have just to save some memory, because basically I can use the same variable. So if you use a union, it's like you use the same space in memory. So basically I just want to use the same variable, but instead of naming this variable like bullet speed or spark and frame ID, because the two variables are not used in the same state of the bullet. Okay, first we use the speed, and then when the spark is playing, we use this variable as a spark ID, a frame ID, right? So I can just use a union, and by using the union, it allow me to give nice name. So this enhance the readability of your code, of course, but you should be careful because every time you have a union, that means you may, if you use these two name, this is actually the same variable, but in the same state, you may overwrite your variable. So you should be careful when you use the union. So okay, so I use that union, which is okay, the same variable. If we look at the CPP, so now when we fire, we start with the bullet speed at 0, because the first frame I don't want to move the bullet, right? Here, obviously, I replace the constant value by the variable value. Here, the length now become variable, so it's the current speed plus the bullet width. So that's why I remove the constant value here. And here's the same. I replace the constant value by the sum of the two. All right, then I will come back to that change in a minute. So then I also finally I remove this variable. This is just minor change, and I just by default return false, and here I just return true and return true here. It's the same actually. It's just just a feeling. So okay, so then another so here, why I have changed this? All right, because I also had another problem with the previous code. In the previous code, if you look here on the left, actually, when in the last frame, when the bullet hit the wall in the last frame, actually I will detect an impact. And because I detect an impact, I directly go there, which means that the bullet were not drawn. This function draw, the fast line, was not called during the last frame when I hit the bullet. But during this last frame, we were not here neither. So also the sparks was not drawn neither. So that means during one frame there was nothing on screen. It was just black. Okay, we didn't draw anything. So basically, we need to draw the line, the bullet, sorry, even if we detect an impact during that frame, right? But if you remember before, in that function, we were also changing directly the x and y. So, and I could not change the x and y for drawing the last frame of the bullet. So that's why now I changed and decided to give a reference parameter to change that x, to get this new x here, right? And I still return bool. Okay, so now I can refactor the order of the stuff we are doing. First, I check the impact for sure, because we still need to search the impact before drawing the bullet, of course, otherwise the bullet will collide with itself. But this time I memorize the impact position in that variable. Then I just do the same, increase, so this time we replace the constant value with the variable value, right? And then we also change the bullet speed to the constant value after the first frame. So the first frame, this will not change. The bullet will not move the first frame, but then it will start to move, right? And then finally, I check the impact, which was written here. I reverse the test here. Okay, the two tests are reversed. If there is an impact, then I do this. Basically, I clear the. No, sorry. Yeah, if there is an impact, then I set the x and y from the impact position that we have memorized here. So basically this code moved from here, from the function to here, and I initialize again the spark animation ID to 0. So I need to initialize again, because remember, this variable and this variable are the same in memory. So here I have set it to bullet speed, but here of course I need to reset it to 0 for sure. And I was still, well, this was still the same actually, and I will of course still clear the flag. And now I can test if there is no impact found. I can also test if my bullet is outside of the screen, and then I'm doing exactly the same. I clear the property, I remove the item. All right, so with this change, then our bullet was drawn, the first frame close to the gun, and the last frame it was drawn before was not drawn. So then the feeling was much better for the bullet, basically. All right, then the last thing I have done is to okay, I just changed some comment here, is to add the animation of for the main character. So here sorry, I cannot scroll. I just changed the order of the property, move it here. I just wanted to see if there is some change about alignment. I'm not sure if the Arduboy is the alignment is aligned on 32 or 16 or 8-bit. I don't know. Arduboy is not 32. Sorry, I don't know if it's aligned on 16 or aligned on 8. So just wanted to test and change this and see if there was some change in the code. I didn't see any change, so I'm not sure so far. But anyway, that give a chance for the other class to add a char, and maybe if it's aligned on 16, then this property char will be packed with the next char. Anyway, so let's see what we have. My change for the rig. First, I replace update by update input, and have deleted these two functions. I just simplify it, okay? Because right now the update was just calling the update input, and basically in the map manager we have all our update for the rig split in different steps. So I thought, okay, just call it update input, and that's fine for now. We will probably not have a general update for rig. Doesn't seems to be like that, right? Then what we have, I of course add some enemy speed for the fire, for the dynamite, right? I added a new state because I already prepared the fire state, but I also add a place dynamite state for rig, and then I added this current animation direction. So this one is for playing a ping pong animation, because for these two animation there will be a ping pong animation. So the fire animation is here. It's only 2 frames, but I want to play this one, and then go back to this one. And place dynamite animation is also here. So I place here, it go down, place it, then I go up again. So I both want to play these 2 animation in ping pong mode. Okay, so we have so I added a animation direction that for now is only used for these 2 states, but I don't know if we'll have more ping pong animation. Maybe we could use it for other animation. All right, so this I already play, and then most of the code is changes here, but I will first show it here. So basically this you recognize it is when you fire or when you press dynamite. And before I was just lighting up the dynamite, decrease the count, but now I will change the state. So here I change to place dynamite state. I initialize the current frame to the first one, which is post dynamite. And this was already existing in the sprite data. And I reset the animation direction to 1, because first I go this direction, then I will go back the other one. This is exactly the same for fire. We go in animate state fire, the current frame fire start, okay, and the direction 1. Then here we are still into the handle input or update input now. So if you remember, we are on jump or full state, okay, then I have added if we are else if we are in fire state, else if we are in dynamite state, and else this is the normal case, right? So actually these two states, fire and dynamite, are very similar, almost the same. I tried to factorize the code together, but that was added a lot of if fire, if dynamite. So I thought, okay, let's split them, because yeah, maybe that's not that many code in common. So basically, first what we do obviously is we check every X frame for the anime speed. If it's anime speed, we add the frame, we move the frame in the current animation direction. You have seen that for the other ping pong animation that we had, and which I forgot which one it was. What was the ping pong animation? I forgot, but anyway, you know that. So instead of just adding 1, we just add or minus 1. Then we check if the frame is after the last one, strictly after the last one. Then we go back to the last one, and we reverse the animation ID. So going back to the last one means what? Means this frame, the last frame, will be played 2 times, which is fine, because I thought it play a kind of I move the arm up, I fire, and then I move it back. So I think the dynamic was also good to have it 2 times like that. Oh wait, that was for the shiny star that we had a looping animation. Now I remember. So I reset to N, I reverse the direction, and we fire the bullet. So basically, if you look here, he moves his arm up. When the arm is totally up, then we can fire the bullet. And that's the same for the dynamite. It goes down. When it's totally down, we can place the dynamite, right? So here we fire the bullet. We have the same iteration to find a live bullet. I was thinking about maybe here we can memorize the dynamite that we choose here, but I thought, yeah, that's fine. We can search again in the array. I think that's fine. Both are okay, I think. Anyway, so, and this time we fire, so really that time we fire and we decrease the bullet count, okay, break. So that's when we reach the end of the first the first ping pong end, I would say. Otherwise, we also check the opposite. So when we go back to the first frame, I mean, if it's less than the fire start, then that means the fire animation is done, because we only play the ping pong animation 1 time. So that's why we put back the state to idle, and we also change the anim frame to idle too. So we go back to idle. For placing the dynamite is exactly, like I said, exactly the same code. We increase according to the direction. We check if we go there. We reset it, change the direction. We place the dynamite, light up. Otherwise, if we go back to the first one, we change to idle, right? It's really similar code. It's almost the same code, but with different value here and there and everywhere, and here the array is not the same, so it's not easy to factorize these two code. Anyway, let's see how it looks like in the on the Arduboy. So if I fire, here it is, and I can fire on the other side also. All right, and if I can place my dynamite, here it is. All right, so yeah, I think that's pretty good so far. We may have a little bug that I will maybe undown outside the stream. When I fire on the left, depending, I'm not sure. I thought the sparks was not playing correctly, depending from where you fire. Yeah, I have no bullet anymore, but okay, I can try again. So maybe there's just a side effect or whatever. Maybe at one specific pixels I need, depends on the distance. Okay, no bullet, never mind. Yeah, I feel maybe a detection collision on the left, left of the statue, but anyway, that's just a small one, I think. So now what I propose you to do is to implement the arrow thrown by this statue actually on the left. Why? Because the arrow is the same code as the bullet actually. It's really the same code. What I plan to do is to have the arrow should be just a bit longer and probably move slower. So I think basically we should reuse the bullet class for playing the arrow, for implementing the arrow, but we just have a new parameters, which is a new speed and width, and except that it should be the same. The sparks, maybe I don't want the sparks on the arrow, because where you can understand that the bullet is making some sparks on the stone, maybe not the arrow, or we can leave it just for the sake of having a fix, and just also for, but because if you want to remove the sparks, yeah, that's fine. It's just another test. It's not a big deal. So we can choose later. All right. So basically, first what I will do is I will duplicate this and naming arrow speed and arrow width. So I guess the arrow could be 5, 6 maybe. I'm not sure. The speed could be less, like it's the number of pixels that move, so it's maybe 2. Yeah, not. Oh, we will tune it later. Don't worry. All right, and actually, I want to specify if my bullet is an arrow or a bullet, right? And I think to be totally honest with this class, I also want to rename the class. I want to name it arrow bullet. So let's do that. Okay, and I'll just rename it current speed. Draw arrow bullet. Oh, yeah, maybe I can just leave it yeah. Let's not change too much stuff for now. Can change that. And I will add a parameter here. Is arrow, for example. All right. And here I add it. All right. Okay, I rename this. All right. I should also rename the files. It's oops, sorry. All right, you may think it's a bit troublesome to do it, but I'm quite careful of not yeah, I'm trying to keep the names truthful to what they are. Otherwise it may becomes a bit difficult to understand what happened. So I prefer to do that. I will rename them here. Just rename file. Yep. And now I have it. Okay, they are renamed. All right, so we have renamed it. I think the rig should have arrow bullet now. And in the array of bullets are arrow bullet. Okay. So I was saying we should have we have a parameters is arrow. If yes, I will set a flag. So I want to actually rename that flag special, so I can also use for the arrow bullet. So I will rename it special. I don't know, maybe I'm not sure I have a better name. Specific flag for let's do the derivated class for handling what they want. Okay, so we'll go back to the spike here, and the spike is here. If it's special, okay, special spikes are horizontal. Okay, and then in our bullet, here, this the collision, and we should set or not the special depending if it's arrow. Is arrow, we set it special, otherwise nothing more. Okay, so let's check if it's compiled. Maybe not, because I rename so much stuff. Okay, so horizontal spike in map data. Yeah, okay. Map data, of course. We had our horizontal spike special. Okay, that compiled, great. So now I want to handle this special flag, not in bullet crate, in our bullet. So here, to start here, we should test minus is property set our width. Okay, so property is special. If it's special, it's an arrow, right? Okay. Then I need this. Then the bullet speed, okay, this function doesn't change because it will, okay, here it will change. So actually we can create a function for that. Let's create a function. Arrow bullet get current width or get width, that's fine, and we will just take that right. Can remove this. Okay, so here I can just call get width, and here I also call get width. Then current bullet speed, I think it's set. Okay, here we have get width, and here we have the speed. So it's only set here, so probably I don't need create a function. Arrow speed, otherwise bullet speed. We have the get width also here. And that's probably the same. That's probably all. I will make a search on the bullet width just to make sure. So normally all the constant value bullet width should have been removed, which we should only have it here. Yeah, only one occurrence is found. Okay, and the bullet speed we should also have only one instance here. Okay, great. So now let's add this function in the header file. All right, let's try that, compile, and nothing should have changed. It seems good. Okay, so now let's try to fire arrows with Rick before letting the statue to fire arrow. Yeah, I cannot. It's an array of okay, so I need to temporarily hack the bullet, the constructor here. I just temporarily hack it. Okay. Special. Okay, let's try again. And here it is. We have longer and slower bullet, which are actually arrows. I think they could be even longer, I think. Let's go to 8. The speed is good for me. Looks good. Oh yeah, I think that looks like a good arrow to me. Okay, good. So let's commit that. Of course, I remove my special. Let's commit this. So I already have renamed this. So in the item, we have rename to special to be able to reuse it in different classes. Special. In rig, we have rename our arbalete into arbalete. Special for the spikes. And in the header file, just rename stuff. We have changed we have added the speed and width, the get width function, and the CPP. So rename, we have these new parameters here now, and actually I think I will need this. Maybe no, I don't need. Never mind, I can add it later. So we replaced the constant value by the get width. We have added the get width here. Rename, get width function, rename the speed. All right, that's quite easy actually. So refactor the palette class to be able to implement arrows too. Okay. So now what we want is we want our statue to fire arrows. Right now the statues are static item. They cannot be destroyed or whatever. So that's fine. We can just leave them like that. But we will need probably an item to not necessary, but we could create an item which is a arrow launcher that will launch some arrows specifically every couple of time, or that could launch the arrows when probably when the player is aligned with the statue, right? So what I'm saying is I don't necessarily need to move the drawing of the statue into the item itself. I can leave it into the whole static stuff and just place an item like arrow launcher where the statue is, and but without any drawing to do. So it's like invisible item if you want, and just contain some logic. All right, so let's do that. I think we need a new item. Let's take something small. Okay. I will just call it arrow launcher. And maybe I will have a launch period. Okay, I save this file. Arrow launcher H. Okay, then I need the CPP. Well, launch arrows on the player, move in front of it. So we may have different logic for that. So I'm not sure, it's not fully defined so far. Arrow launcher.h. We need to have a, let's save it, arrow CPP. Let's also take some we need this, we need that, we probably need this. So in which flag it should have actually we don't really care, because since it draws nothing, so can be called, is update can be called in any state, I think. So let's call it, let's say lethal. That should be okay. I'll remove this flag. Okay, just do that. I think that should be enough. All right, so also the arrow launcher will have an instance of arrow, just one. I think yeah, there won't be any crazy like a lot of arrow launch. I think just one arrows can be drawn at a time on screen. That's far from enough on the gameplay side. So I just want to directly embed one instance inside the arrow launcher. Well, I can make a new. I'm not sure which one is best. No, I think we can just embed it. So if we embed it, we need the class arrow bullet. So we have let's call it, it's an arrow. Then if I instantiate statically like that, I need to add the flag in the arrow bullet. Okay, that's fine, we can add it. Can I? Not sure if I can specify the flag like this. Yeah, I should be able. Let's try. Is arrow. Actually, I don't need this function, this constructor with the x and y, I think, because now all the bullets are pre-instantiated. So okay, let's try. We'll try, and if I don't need it, I will delete it. Does it compile? Oh, I need to, Rick Rick need to specify that's not much. Class x dot x is arrow. Let me check. Rick. Can I? If I have an array, I can probably not. So let's rewrite something like this. Let's change this. It doesn't matter to instantiate with a position, I think. All right, so I remove this and I remove that and I just put 0 here. So does not match class. Any in the class arrow launcher. Oh, okay. Arrow launcher, I forgot to x flag, xy flag, x. Okay, yeah, remove the flag. So can I put true here? So no. Expected identifier before true. Huh? Arrow. Bullet. Okay, we only have this one now. So I think it's probably on to directly instantiate it. Inside the class, I mean. Okay, that's fine. We can make a pointer. We will instantiate dynamically. Otherwise, I can change the flag later. I guess this will work. I think I can make a new. Do I want that? Or should I just yeah, maybe I can do that. Otherwise, another solution is to use the default constructor and in the arrow bullet just set the is arrow property just after, because yeah, that works also. That's fine. Okay, we instantiate the arrow and we will add it No, we will not add it. Instantiate my arrow. Okay, now the update function. Yep. So actually, I don't really care about the state. I'm never at as I will probably never be removed from the array of items. You can always return false. Then I should check right now. I will just send it just for testing every frame. I'm gonna take this one. Arrow fire, right? And my position. Okay. Fire, yeah, I need to specify if I'm moving on left or not, so it depends if the arrow launcher is mirror or not, actually. So is property set. Mirror X. So I think now I need to I should keep the flag then. I should have kept the flag. So I add it back. Okay. Then I will add them in the map manager, and that make me think that right now I have some debug code here. We can try to refactor a little bit, make it a little bit more clean. I will add init function on the map manager. So and I will just move that code. I can leave the crate right now, the bullet crate. I will add or launcher. So it will be placed on 0, yeah, we'll see. It will be around, yeah, around not 50 maybe, a bit higher, 45. And item property flags, and it should be mirror. No, it's not mirror actually. So we'll just comment it for now. We can test later the direction, and I will add it also here. Okay, so I have removed from the update. We have init function. This function, I will expose it. This function init, or maybe reset, we will call it later. Maybe I'll rename it reset later, I don't know. We will call it when the main character die. We need to reset the whole level to its proper state. So we can just create it now, and this function will evolve in the future. All right, and I will call it from. I think I'll call it from the I know setup. Like map manager init. Call init function of some manager. We may have more init function later, right? Okay, so we did I finish everything? Yeah, we have our L and so many files open, and okay. So it should update, it should launch yeah, every period. Let's try if that compile and if that works. No, doesn't compile. Mirror X, no. Fire. Request for member fire in Lamra, which is not pointer type arrow bullet. Ah, yes, I mean this. You're right. It's a pointer. Arrow launcher does not have a name. Yeah, I need to include it in the map manager. Arrow launcher. Okay. All right, let's test it. Yeah, seems to work. It's a bit high, but I will try. Yeah, I was killed by the arrow. Try to jump. Yeah. Okay, good. Good. So now let's change the code to actually launch the arrow when the player is in front of it. I will tune also let's tune the position. Roughly 45 is here. Maybe I need 500. Maybe 50 is good. All right. So here, sorry, I just tuned the position of the Y here. Here, I don't want to do that. I want to check if the rig position is if the Y is in front of me. So rig. Okay, so I need to include rig. I think the Y is private. Yeah, and I guess I need an accessor for that. So it's int get x and int get y. Okay, and then we should implement this in the well, I can just write it here. It's almost like inline. Return x. Alright, then in the launcher, if we get y is so I mean y plus maybe 13. No, I should check. It's better to check if my x is in between his y. Okay, so if my y is between the whole height of the character, if my y is is less than this, and if my y is greater than int rig y, okay, so if my y has this, my y is below is y and my y is above is y plus this position, then I should fire 1. But if I do that, I will fire it every time, right? So I don't want to fire arrows too fast. So that's why once I have fire an arrow, I should wait a certain period of time before firing the next one. And this is why we had this period, which I can rename it like min. This is the minimum minimum wait, minimum launch period, or period well, launch period was good, sorry. Launch period, and then I need to have a variable to memorize when I have launched it, right? So last launch time. Okay, so can initialize it with 0. Okay, here when I fire it, I will reset it to 0. And now I need to increase it and test if but sometimes I'm not firing, so okay, I can use a specific value for that. If so if the arrow is not launched, okay, I will use a specific value for that. So if it actually launch, right? Oh no, if it's not launched, I need to check, of course, the rig. But then here, okay, if the rig is inside, then I can check. I'm sorry, I have trouble to make a simple algorithm. If I increase that time, if the launch time reach the launch period, then I can authorize launch again. So I will rename that variable. Can launch arrow. Okay, if I can launch arrow, then I check rig position. If it's inside, then I will set launch time to, I will fire the arrow and set the launch time to 0. And here, otherwise, I increase the time, and if it reached the period, then I can reset. Yeah, that is readable. So obviously this one would be 255. All right, let's try that, and of course this one has to be set like this. Let's try that. Rick, oh, it's not a dot. Rick is not a class. doesn't work. We have something launching, man, but okay, let's check the code again. Launch time can launch arrow if okay rig y get y if my y is greater than rig y and my y is less than 0.13, then I fire. Yeah, that should work, but well, let me suicide myself to respawn ups. Okay, he doesn't fire arrows. If I move here, he fire. But why he fire in the wrong direction? It was working before. What did we change? Okay. Oh, maybe, yes, I know. Every second we reset this, and then I cannot launch anymore. But actually, I don't care because this is the arrow that. Oh yeah, but we use the same arrow actually. So okay, the launch time is 1 second. It's not long enough. All right, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try the maximum 254 to see if it's enough. Nope. Okay. Okay, let's check again the code. What did I do wrong? Okay. Can launch arrow. If this is here, then I set the property to fire. Otherwise, I increase the launch time. If it's greater than the launch period, okay, I can launch the arrow again. What is wrong with that? The thing is, I don't really understand what happened actually. We can see the arrow on the next to the statue, but it's like I changed the position also. Ah, that's why. Yeah, maybe the arrow collide or whatever. Let's put back the position to 45 just to make sure. I put back to 45. Here I put back to 45. Let's try again. It's probably a collision issue. Yes. Okay. And yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now 254 becomes too long. let's say 1, 2, 120, 1, 2, 3, 180, 3 seconds. Okay, let's put 3 seconds for now. All right, so but we have a bug, kind of collision bug. So yeah, I see the arrows of bullet is colliding with the static wall. Yeah, so we don't spawn the problem is we don't spawn the arrow at the correct place. Oh, that's really you know, woo. I think I succeed to work on the arrow. Maybe not, or just normally not. They are not static collision. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. Start to be some gameplay here. Start to be fun. Okay. All right. So let's see why we have yeah, collision. Okay, we have collision because I spawn here inside the statue, and the arrow is checking also the static collision because of course if I have here I want the arrow to stop. So let's fix that. So that means the arrow should be on the mouth of the statue here. So let's adjust that in the map manager. Should be how many pixels? Sorry. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of 5. And 50. And I will also, in the map data, I will also add one more. One more, where it is. Should be that level. Statue bottom. Okay, statue bottom here we have 0. So statue top I want, or maybe I can just place it here. Let's try that. Yeah, it's still colliding with the I think 50 is too low. Should be 50. It's on the eye. 51, 52. Should be on 52. 52. Okay. No. Where is it in the map manager? 52. Let's try that. Oh, yeah, seems to work. I cannot crawl. Ah! Ah! Oh my god. Ah! Yeah. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Now I'm protected. Ha ha ha. Good. Very good. And now this we will be able to implement the crawl to crawl under the stone here and to crawl under the arrow actually. So also I think on a game design point of view, I don't want the arrow to fire when I'm here. I would like it to fire only when the player is in between the statue and the position of the stone, for example. So I think in the game design editor we should be able to specify a box or line, the width, where the sensor will trigger the arrow actually. And probably also, well, I'm not sure if we should have a faster or slower arrow. No, probably not. I think all the arrows should be on the same speed. But at least the trigger position, yeah. So let's implement that. What time is it for this streaming? Just let me check. I have streamed 1 hour 31 minutes. Okay. Let's commit this maybe, and let's commit this, and maybe we can add. Sorry. Yeah, we can commit this. Yeah, and then later we can add this X restriction, which is very simple. So I want to add these two. Should be very simple, I think. So, yeah, arrow bullet, we have refactored a bit the constructor, because this is useless to construct a bullet with a specific position, as we only specify it into the fire. Then, okay, that's the same change. Then in the map data we just added our one more stone. Here in the map manager we have added the init function. Add a init function in the map manager. Right, I think we yeah, in the rig, what did we do? We have added the accessor for the X and Y. Add a position accessor for rig. Okay, and then here we just call the init function. Okay, we have rename. Yeah, I forgot to save the project. And oh, I think I didn't add the arrow launcher in the project. Let's do it first before committing. There are items, so they should be added here. Okay, I added the arrow launcher, save it. Okay, and then our class is quite simple one. And here, okay, just the bait. Add an arrow launcher item for the statue that launch arrows. Alright, we can commit this. And just to finish nicely the stream, let's add this constraint on the X. So this is not something that will change, so it can be something on the constructor for sure. I will add it here, like can be a char, unsigned char, detection width, and I will add this one also in the class. All right, and then of course I initialize it. And then in the sensor, we should also check the X, get X. So my X should be greater, should be lower than rig X, and my X plus the detection should be, my X plus detection should be less than rig X plus the width of rig. So it should be, this one I can get it from the sprite data. I will get it in the draw. Rig sprite width. All right. That should be enough actually. So let's try that. I'm not sure I didn't include sprite data also here. Just include sprite data. And of course in the map manager I should specify width, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 times 8. That's 56. 0 for the flag. Let's try that. The header file. All right. Okay, let's try. Oh, it's not good. Yeah, okay. I think I mixed the detection X, I guess. Yeah, I did the opposite. Let's check again. My X should be less than rig X. Okay, and yes, my X plus detection oh yeah, should be greater than that. It should be after the rig plus rig plus the sprite width is, yeah, and my width detection should be actually if rig is inside So I don't think it's like that. My x should be less than is rig, yeah, and my x plus detection should be after is rig, yeah. It depends if I mirror or not, I think. Probably. Let's just test that for now. Don't know what. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. Does he fire? No, it doesn't fire. And then he fire. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that works. Okay, I want to crawl. I just want to crawl to avoid the arrow. Anyway, so yeah, I will finish that. I will probably fix the issue offline. I think when the statue is mirror, when the launcher is mirror, maybe this detection is a bit should be a bit different. But I think we will stop the stream here. Thank you for watching. And yeah, I'm quite happy. Today we have our first arrow that reuse the code of the bullet, which is always good. And I guess the next time we may have to implement the crawling. So I will also probably start doing the crawling animation. I'm sorry we still didn't start the AI. So maybe you're waiting for the AI, I don't know. So probably the AI will be after the crawling. I think now with the arrow coming, it's a good time to have the crawling. So let's do that. Thank you for watching. And then I will see you during the next stream. Bye bye.